Alright. Hey guys, so thanks for taking a look at this video. This is going to be a lap guide for Virginia International Raceway for the production car challenge next week. So this is going to be a pretty similar lap guide for the GR86 and the MX5. There's going to be some subtle differences, so if you have any questions, definitely reach out. So we'll get started here on the next lap. It looks like it is going to be dark, so we're starting in sunset going into the dark. Now taking a look at this lap, this is on heavy fuel. So our brake marker is going to be probably about a car length right before the one board on your left hand side. We're going to want to brake in a straight line. Downshift pretty rapidly, and then we're going to downshift in the second gear right at turn in to get that last bit of rotation into the corner. Now these cars are pretty low horsepower, so you can get on throttle pretty aggressively, and then you want to keep it tight, and you shouldn't have to lift at all with the track temps that we're going to see. Now there's a couple different approaches coming into this left-hand corner. A lot of people like to keep it really tight in here, and this is a good defensive line in a race situation. But for qualifying, or if you have the space, you definitely want to take a farther out line, keep it wide. This is important because if we are apexing against that curb on our left here, the car is going to be pointed in this direction, and we're going to have to turn even farther to the left to make this next corner. So if we keep it out wide, we'll be parallel with the track surface, or the track on our right hand side here, and this will allow us to carry a little bit more speed without turning so much into the next corner. A little bit of trail brake will go a long way, and we can use all of the green surface out here on the right hand side. If you get into the dirt, it will want to suck you out or get the rear of the car a little loose, so try to stay out of that. And then as soon as we're coming off that green patch, right here is when we're going to start braking. It's going to be a downshift into second gear, and we can abuse these apex curbing a little bit. Now what's important is to get the car turned to the right as soon as possible. Because the GR86 and the MX5s are momentum cars, the sooner we get on throttle, the better. And this will be an entire straightaway section because we're flat out. These cars are a little bit slow too, so you don't have to worry too much about abusing the curbings coming into the S's. Of course, we'll be flat out all the way through this section once again. Now coming up to the back section of the S's, it's important to stay to the left-hand side here. You can even dip the left side tires into the grass. And we want to turn in fairly early and catch this apex curbing coming up on the right. This is going to help keep the car on the right side of the track and properly set the car up for this next left-hander. Now once we crest this hill and it goes into the compression zone, the car will grip back up. It's going to be a little bit of a lift, maybe a little bit of braking depending on what you're comfortable with. We'll turn in and we can abuse the curbing here. Now if you get tires onto the grass, that will be an incident or an off track, so avoid that at all costs. And then coming up on track out, we also want to avoid the grass and the dirt in this section. This has a tendency to pull the car out a little bit or get the car a little loose, and that's going to ruin your lap time there. Now coming up to the oak tree complex, we're going to try to go in as deep as possible, and you'll notice I get the car pointed to the right instead of parallel or in a straight line. This is going to help set up a straight braking line all the way through this first apex. We want to bring it out wide, and then again use that second gear downshift to help aid in rotation, getting onto the back straight. This is another section where we can abuse all of this green patch here on the left, and again, stay out of the dirt. All the way flat out through this back straight. Now coming up to the next corner, this is where a lot of passes tend to happen. If you have the space, of course you can just stay on the right hand side. If you do have a car within about a half of a second behind you, you don't want to be all the way over to the left to defend, but a mid middle of the track line, or even a car width away from the right side is a good defensive position. Now coming up here, we're going to use this arrow as our brake marker, and once again we want to get the car pointed to the left and then straighten out before we start our braking zone. So go in slow-mo here, we get the car pointed straight, we'll touch that left side curbing, and then we're going to downshift all the way into second gear, release off that brake pedal early so we can get back on throttle and carry the speed through that corner. Now we can track all the way out to the left before this downhill left-hand turn. It's okay to get on throttle here a little early. This is on camber downhill, so it's a heavy compression zone and the car is going to want to grip up. And then coming to the last little section, it's going to be a little bit of a lift before we go over this curbing. Let the car settle and downshift, trail brake ever so slightly, and then as soon as the car starts to compress into the road here, we want to get back on throttle early. That's going to help settle the rear end and grip up on the exit. Now if you're tracking all the way out to the curbing here, you carried a little too much speed, and that's going to delay how soon you can get on throttle. So if you find yourself getting all the way out here, dial it back just a little bit coming into that corner and you'll be able to get on throttle a little bit sooner for this start finish. Now we're going to watch this in cockpit view without any voiceover and see how it goes. That is a reference lap of a 207.67. Now this is also using iracing's medium downforce, which is really heavy on fuel once again. So you're going to use a little bit more or a little bit less fuel in your actual official race. But other than that, good luck with the rest of your week.